All right. Hi, everybody. This is Big Anklevich here. I'm the director and producer of this film.
And I'm Rish Outfield, and I'm the co-pilot. I'm the viewer, just like you guys. So tell us where this is and just tell us what's going on here, man.
Okay, so this is a bridge over the Buffalo Bayou here in Houston. And every night at sunset, this happens. It's just sometime around sunset. You never know exactly, so you just got to kind of show up well before sunset to make sure you don't miss it. And you just sit there, and then eventually all these bats just come pouring out of the bridge. They're heading out for the night to go and eat some bugs. And yeah, I was looking it up. Apparently, normally, before Hurricane Harvey hit, there was more than 400,000 bats living in the bridge. After Harvey, the population was decreased significantly, but there are still more than 200,000 bats that live in this bridge. And yeah, they just come flying out. And it's freaking amazing, as you can see.
Okay, but nobody disturbed them to make them come out. They just came out because it's feeding time?
Yeah, it's weird because they all just come out like like they've all been standing around talking to each other. Okay, you guys ready? Is everybody ready? Everybody ready? Flap your wing if you're not ready,
Yeah, it's the Disneyland electrical parade of the animal world.
Right.
Now, and you went to this bridge specifically to see this, right? It wasn't just a coincidence that...
No, yeah, we knew that it was there, and we went to it just for that.
Yeah, I wish your video was longer because you complained that your son was just like, when's it gonna happen, Dad? And you're just like, shoot, I don't know.
Yeah, he got really upset because, yeah, I mean, obviously the bats aren't wearing alarm clocks or wristwatches. Yeah, the little one that just flapped in there slowly.
Well, yeah, they're much closer, I think. I mean, how close did they get to you, to people?
They didn't really come towards the people, They all just flew straight out and kind of away. And you saw they kind of stayed like in a tube or something of bats that flew off into the horizon. You could still see them as a swarm, even it looked like miles away. I don't know how far away it was, but when it's pointing up at the sky and you can still see them there like that, that's a ways away. They always kind of stayed. And you can see that some of them are still flying in circles and stuff around underneath the bridge. I assume they're catching bugs there or something. I don't know. But it's a good thing there's 200,000 bats living there because, man, let me tell you, the amount of mosquitoes that we need them to eat is significant.
And I could hear something on your video. Of course, we're talking over it. But what did it sound like from the bridge?
I didn't notice any sound whatsoever. There, like before they all launched, I could hear... it could have been bats screeching, but I'm pretty sure it was just birds that were chirping down there. Bats are supposed to be like supersonic or whatever. So not supersonic. That just means they're going faster than the speed of sound. That's not a bat. But, they're above our limit of hearing as they're screeching.
We could say hypersonic.
Okay, so we're replaying it. This part I thought was interesting since this is the start and we hadn't even introduced ourselves. I'll try and say it now. You can see him coming out, but only sort of. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you know what I mean, but I mean you can see it, but it's not a good shot.
It's not quite high enough resolution. It's definitely motion, and I think I saw this video before I knew the context.
Oh yeah.
And yes, you when they're across the sky, you can see like the mass and numbers, and there's that one shot it's coming up when they're rising above, and it looks like locusts in a documentary or in the Ten Commandments right there,
Yeah, you couldn't, I mean, I think it was just because the background was dark and there wasn't enough light because it was sunset, so I couldn't get a good shot. So I had to run over and get more of a light background so that you can see them a lot better here. Which is funny because we started out standing on the bridge and we were standing there waiting, and it smelled a little funky on the bridge. I'll have to admit, it smelled kind of like if you've ever had a rat as a pet. If you've not cleaned out your rat's cage often enough, it'll smell. Just the rats are just peeing and pooping right in there, and it's not going away. And that is what the bat bridge kind of smelled like. Well, like a lot of things were in there peeing and pooping pretty often. And so we didn't want to stand around on the bridge the whole time. So we got up and we walked over to the side because there's a big platform over there that's specifically the bat colony emergence observation platform. And so I thought, oh, that's got to be the best place, right? Why would they build a platform there if the best place was on the bridge? And so we went over there, and yeah, it might have been fine. I probably could have stayed there if I didn't want video of it as well. But you couldn't really see it well enough in the video, so I jumped up and moved.
I had asked you the first time if there was a smell to the bats, but would you know if it was coming from the bats? I
wouldn't.
It didn't.
No.
Oh, there's that shot again. It definitely is rodent-like, the smell, you say.
Yeah, it does smell like rodents. Like what I've smelled of rodents before. Like one time we had a wood pile in our backyard and we were clearing it out and getting rid of it. And a rat was living under there, or a mouse, I guess. I mean, maybe it was a rat. I don't know. It was pretty dang small, so I wouldn't call it a rat. It definitely wasn't like the pizza rat from New York or something.
It's only a wallaby.
But we picked up a log, and all of a sudden this mouse goes running off, and I was just like, oh, man, that's what that smell was coming from. And my sister had also had a rat as a pet before that, and so I should have realized also that's what the smell was coming from, because, yeah, it's just got that rodent kind of smell to it. You recognize it once you're used to it, or you're familiar with it, whatever.
How many people are we talking about that had gathered for this? If you had to guess.
There was a fair number. I would say there's less than even 100. I don't know how many exactly, but there was a few dozen sitting around for it. I mean, it happens every night, so there's no there's no rush to go and see it. The funny thing is, I knew that it happened. I heard about it like when we first moved to Houston. And we were all thinking about going to it, and then other stuff came up, and I just totally forgot about it. And it's been almost 3 years now. And we just finally went. So there was a guy who just pulled up on the bridge. There wasn't there was a sidewalk, but there wasn't even like a shoulder or anything like that. There was just lanes. You can kind of see it right there.
Yeah, I saw the tail lights.
The tail lights was the guy who just pulled up onto the bridge, and then he just stopped. And he put on his like emergency flashers, and he stayed there for like 10 minutes, just in the middle of the freaking road. And somebody else did that as well. They pulled up right behind him and put on their flashers and just sat there. And I kept thinking, gosh, when is a police car going to come along and say, hey, get the heck out of here. What are you guys doing? You're blocking traffic. Or the other thing that I thought would be, as likely, but much worse, of course, somebody doesn't realize what's going on, and they fully, rear end that guy who's just stopped in the middle of the road on a bridge. And, in my mind's eye, I was seeing, the car flying in the air, hitting the people that are standing there on the bridge, sending them over the edge. And, I was thinking, yeah, probably a good idea that we moved over here to the side to wait for it to start. Of course, none of that happened, luckily. Didn't get an accident, didn't get any traffic cop called. I assume that they're probably used to that. I bet people probably do that relatively often for this thing. And so, maybe just people know if you're driving across the Waugh Bridge, you better just keep an eye out. Try not to stay on the outside lane. I don't know.
Well, see, I can't really blame them. If I saw this... even if I were late for something, even if my wife is in labor, I'd be like, honey, we gotta look at it. Just watch. Keep your breathing. It's cool. I know it smells bad, but because I don't get the full effect of being there watching your video, but it's what you caught was spectacular enough. I wanted to talk to you about it 3 times over now. And it's what was it like being there? Is it more impressive than what we're seeing?
It was really neat. I think I really had no clue what it was going to be like. I mean, I knew, all these bats come flying out, but I'd not experienced it. I mean, if you came and visited and I took you out there, you would already have this in your mind. And so you would, kind of know what to expect. I did not have that. I had no idea. And when it happened, I was just like, holy crap, this is freaking amazing. It's like I did not expect just how awesome that it was going to be, and it just kind of bowled me over, and they just kept coming. Like at this point in the video, and I know we've watched it several times, but we're 3 minutes in and it barely feels like that they're even slowing. Just so many coming out, it just blows you away. And I don't know, it was something really special. I think that you ought to come and visit, and I'll drag you out and we'll watch this one night, because it was really cool. And I guess there's a few places in Texas where they have these bats. I've forgotten the name of them. There's some kind of Mexican bat. The ones in Houston don't migrate, which is cool. They're there all year long. The ones I think they have a bridge in Austin, but those ones migrate in the winter, and so you can only see them during the spring, summer, and fall, and then they're gone.
Well, we're coming to the end of it again. Anyway, it's just really cool. This is one of those cases where I'm glad that you turned on your phone to record what you were seeing. It's usually so irritating when you see a young person do that. It's just like, watch the fireworks, watch the execution, guys. But in this case, I got to experience it because you had your phone.
Yeah.
And so, that's it. I just wanted to talk to you about it. And I don't know. Now I feel like I was there next to you.
All right. Well, before, eventually, we'll put it that way. Eventually, you will be there with me. The fact that you like this much makes me want to force you to come out and watch it here. Maybe I'll do a fundraiser. I'll do a GoFundMe to buy you an airline ticket out to Houston so that you can come and see it.
Well, that's what it would take, I think.
Yeah, probably. But sooner or later, we're going to do that.
So we did introduce ourselves. I've been Rish Outfield.
Yep, and I've been Big Anklevich. Thanks for watching our Waugh Bridge Bats. See ya.
Good night.